Okay. So, the linga is just a stone. But we don't look upon it as a stone. We look upon it as Ishvara or Shiva or whatever your Ishta Devata is. If you mistake a rope for a snake, that is called adhyasa, a mistake. Whereas here, it is deliberate. You are deliberately looking at a stone as Ishvara. This is called, a definition will be Niskrishta Vastuni Utkrishta Vastu Aropaha. Niskrishta Vastu, meaning what? A commonplace object and commonplace thing. In that, Utkrishta Vastu, a higher thing, is invoked deliberately. If you see how some of the granite murtis are carved, they are put on the ground. The sculptor will put his leg on it to keep it steady when he is chipping away. All that he will do. But once prana pratishtha is done, the final act is opening the eyes. That happens after the murti has been placed inside the temple. First person to do namaskara will be the sculptor who has carved it. Why? Prana pratishtha has been done. It is no more a stone, it is the Lord Himself. It is, you are looking at it culturally. You are seeing it through your eyes of culture, through refined eyes. Yeah. So it's a deliberate thing. Why? Because everything is Ishvara. If everything is Ishvara, any one form can represent Ishvara. Because how are you going to do a worship of Ishvara? Aarti? Where? To what? Now, if you feel the whole space that you can see is Ishvara, you can do it, okay? Like I am very often called to this guy's house, okay, for Dasara or Ganesh Chaturthi or some special thing. He used to be briefly in our class also. There is no puja corner in the room, in the whole house, okay. It's a 3-bedroom house, but there is no puja corner. But he'll tell me at Dasara day, Swamiji, say a mantra and do some arti or something. I said, kisko karu arti abhi? So then I invoke Ishvara in the space and I do it. Or you need some invocation point, no? Or a direction. I'll say, which is east? Okay, this is east. Chalo. Therefore, for your focus, you need something. All right. At the same time, this water bottle is Ishvara. But do you feel it inspiring enough to keep it in your puja room and do puja for it? Nah. So water bottle, yaar. Kya ye? Therefore, in the Vibhuti Yoga, Krishna talks about of the few glories, Vibhutis, of the Lord, which you can use for invocation. The list is a bit long if you will look at it, yes, but in no way all inclusive. You can have your own forms also. Now, why do you need that? Why do you need to do a upasana or a small little lighting the lamp and saying salam and all that thing? Why do you need that? To invoke the bhakti out of you. Very often, we understand what is Ishvara. By the way, I may do that in the camp. Okay, I'm not yet decided the 6 stages of knowing God. I don't think most of you have been exposed to that. 6 levels at which you can relate to Ishvara. Okay, and the 7th level is Vedanta. Okay, yeah. Have anyone sat in such a workshop or camp before with me?
Swamiji, this thing, Mathiran camp we did, na? When Sahaji's Panka Dibba was taken away.
Yeah, that's about 12 years back, right? 12, 13 years back, yeah. Yes, that monkey came and took away his Pan Dabba.
Yes.
The only time I saw him mildly agitated. Because he chased the monkey. Yeah, I may do that. Let us see, I have not yet decided. Unless any of you have any other suggestion of wanting to hear something from me. Okay. So please register for the camp, because accordingly we will have to take the Zoom connections, etc. Because normal Zoom connections won't be enough for a big camp. Okay. So we'll have to take that, and for that I have to know the numbers, how much need to take. Okay. So please register. 18th, 19th. All that is there in the link that I have posted in the groups. So, special vibhutis to invoke the feeling out of you, the feeling of bhakti out of you. Why? Because unless you have bhakti, how are you going to be a karma yogi? To every thought that you have an emotional response. This is a water bottle. Hey, nice bottle. If the thought is nice bottle, what is the feeling you'll have? Something very pleasant. Nice. Hey, kya bottle hai ye sab? I don't like this. Naturally, your feelings will follow suit. That is why, for the same incident, thoughts are different, emotions will be different. What's happening in Afghanistan? For democratic countries all over the world, it's a tragedy. For countries like Pakistan and all, hey, our people have won. For some idiots in India also, it is the same. Our people have won. They are people of Afghanistan, let them do what they want with their country. Yaar, for countries like China, etc., opportunity. Therefore, according to your thinking, your emotional feeling also will change. Yeah. Are you getting the idea? That emotional response is based on your thinking. But sometimes, even though there is a thought, your emotional response may be inhibited. Young boys at their first college social will have definitely, yeah, that is true. What Tulsi has said is true, yeah. Now, young boys in college would have experienced this definitely. Especially if they come from non-co-educational schools. They see a pretty girl, they want to go and talk to her. But how do you approach her? You want to emotionally connect, but inhibited response. Similarly, very often it can be with Ishvara. Yeah. The response very often is inhibited. Like a newly married couple, if it is an arranged marriage, it takes some time. Okay, arranged marriage, you saw each other a couple of times before wedding. Then you got married. Now you are husband and wife. But where is all that love, etc.? Thoda inhibited. Takes some time. And how do you develop that? You behave as though you are husband and wife. You behave like a couple, you do everything that the couple does. So even though beginning there is not much of a feeling, in time the feeling will come. Why? Because the thought is already there. We are a couple. That recognition is there. Feeling is lagging behind. So a few acts like that will make it. Generally guys in the workplace will tell the guy, अरे यार बीवी को पिक्चर के लिए लेके गया कि नहीं लेके गया? You take her out for a movie or not? हाँ, movie. Come on यार, take her out. Take her some, give her, go, get some flowers on the way home. Why flowers? खुश हो जाएगी, लेके जा. Which woman is not happy with flowers? Unless she is of the mother's generation here, 60 plus, then she'll ask you, why did you spend so much of money? But other than that, most people, girls are happy with flowers. So take. What are you doing? You are doing acts of love, which are associated with love, even though you don't feel any great love. That's how love develops. Friendships develop. Yeah. That's why in corporates you have team building activities. Why do you need a team building activities? You are one team now. We are working on a project. Yeah, but you are not gelled as a team. You are still just a group of people. You are not learned to gel as a team. That has to be developed. It takes time. Either the team leader will have to do it or an external consultant will have to do it. How to gel as a team. Big thing it is. Yeah. So, worship is the same. You do acts associated with bhakti so that that emotion of bhakti will come up. You already have some understanding of Ishvara. Some understanding of Ishvara is already there. Yeah. Am I making sense to you all? Okay. Then with that in mind, let us look at it. And why he had said this here? Because previously I said man, mana, bhava, etc. So how do I take my mind to the Lord? Here, through these gateways. So every vibhuti becomes an altar, a gateway. Or what is the modern scientific term for it? A portal. A portal for invoking Ishvara. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead. The 10th chapter, Dashamodhyayaha Vibhuti Yogaha. Okay. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shunu me paramam vachaha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshyami hita kamyaya. Okay. Hey Mahabaho, hey mighty armed Arjuna, Bhuya eva Shunu me paramam vachaha. Listen again to my words dealing with the highest reality. Yatteham pravakshyami priyamanaya vakshyami. I am telling it to you because you are dear to me. Priyamanaya hitakamyaya. Keeping your hitam, your goodness, your benefit in mind. I am saying it. Because what is my motivation? Nothing. मेरा क्या motivation है? Okay. Why does Ishvara have a motivation? Ishvara has no motivation. Okay. Therefore, hitakamyaya. That's my motivation. That I wish you well. I want you to be able to develop bhakti, etc. Now remember, Arjuna already has the bhakti, etc. Remember, he had the sakshatkara of Shiva himself. When he worshipped, Shiva himself came in front. That is not a small degree of bhakti, okay? That's a huge amount of bhakti, okay? Yeah. And he fought with him. because Shiva came in disguise, disguised as a hunter, and they both shot the same pig. Okay, so they both fought. And later on, Arjuna asked for apology. He says, I'm sorry, I did not know you, I fought you. And Shiva laughs and says, you offered me the best worship possible by a warrior. So the Lord can be worshipped in many ways, okay? There are certain formal forms of worship for the common man. That's fine. It's good to follow that if you are not having special needs. Like once I came across a small temple, 16,000 feet high in the Himalayas. 16,000 feet high, okay? Snow on both sides. And a small ridge, we had to do a ridge walk. A ridge is a small, either side is valley. And there it is called Kuwari Khal. The Virgin Pass. Kuwari, Virgin Pass. Why? Because you have to go through that to reach Nanda Devi, the mountain peak. So we are going to that base camp, okay? So Kuwari Khal we crossed over. Right there. And we had not carried any things for worship. Kya rahega? So we from our backpack we took little chocolate, little biscuit, chicky and all and kept it there. Aur kya karega? Whatever we had in our backpack, because this is normal daily munch for when you are walking. So I said, chalo, so high in the Himalayas, offer the martial form for worship. Do a martial art kata, a form. That's worship. For Shivratri in Chidambaram, Bharatanatyam dancers go and offer their dance. Yeah. Singers go and sing. I'm sure there must have been a time when Kalari experts went and offered their art as worship. Yeah. In fact, recently someone forwarded a video to me of a girl on her wedding day. The moment the wedding rituals are over, she comes out of the hall on the road and she demonstrates her skill in martial arts. Of course, the obvious statement is, I'm showing it to inspire all the women to take up self-defense. Then I thought maybe there is a hidden message there for her husband and mother-in-law. Okay. Yeah, don't play with me. I'm joking, okay? But the video is there. If you all want to see it, I'll put it on your groups. Okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Hitakamyaya, I'm going to say you, he says. Then he puts a conditional clause in the beginning itself. Name viduhu suraganaha prabhava na maharshayaha amadihi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Name vibuhu. Name viduhu. No one knows my prabhava, my source. Neither the suraganaha, the groups of gods like Indra, Agni, Vayu, etc., they don't know. Nor the Maharshis who know everything. All the divine insights they have, they also don't know it. Then, Aham Adihi Devanam Maharshinam cha Sarvashaha. Because I am before all the Devas and the Maharshis. In fact, I am the source for all of them. Therefore, my source, nobody knows. Nobody knows. All right. Accepted. Then what? Yo mam janmadihi cha veti lokamaheshwaram asammudaha samartyeshu sarva pape pramuchyate. Mam ajanmadi. Those who know me as Ajam, Anadi, Ajam without a beginning, Anadi without an end. Chaveti Lokamaheshwaram. At the same time, I am Lokana Maheshwaram, the Lord of all the beings. I am Anadi Anantam, without beginning and end. Everything has come from me and is going to resolve into me. Asammudaha samartyeshu, among the human beings, he is asammudaha, free from delusion. Sarva papai pramuchyate, free from all papas. ये क्या हो गया? You just know Ishvara like this and all papas are gone. You can never know Ishvara as Anadi and Anantam unless you understand that he and you are one and the same. As consciousness, you and he are one and the same. Only then the knowledge is complete. Otherwise, the knowledge is incomplete. Because you'll say, God is without beginning, without end. And where am I? Separate. ये क्या हो गया? Then God ends where I begin. Correct? I end where he begins. Can't be like that. Can't be like that. For if you really have to understand Ishvara as Ajanmam and Anadi, Anantam, you have to understand yourself as non-different from him. If you understand that your pure consciousness, non-different from Ishvara, that is consciousness, then you are free from the whole question of samsara. Punya, Papa, etc. is not applicable to you. Yeah. That's been the subject matter for the whole thing right from second chapter onwards. All this time we have been seeing that. Okay? If you'll think about it and have doubts, then ask me. Okay? Otherwise, I am taking that as a given. Okay, yeah. Okay, this chapter and the next chapter, I may go a little fast. If any of you have a doubt or something you don't understand, stop me and ask. Okay? The very process of asking me will make me stop and listen to you all. Okay? Because just enumeration. Therefore, I will go fast. There's no in-depth understanding necessary. They just have to be understand, okay, this is one of the vibhutis. How it is a vibhuti, that's all. Okay. Buddhir jnanam sammohaha kshamas satyam dhamakshamaha sukham dukkham bhavo bhavaha bhayam cha bhayamevacha ahimsa samatam tushtihi tapodanam yasho yashaha bhavanti bhava bhutanam matte eva pratagvidaha. You want to know my vibhutis here, starting with yourself. Starting with yourself, your thinking and your feelings. Here. Okay? All these bhavaha bhavanti bhutanam. Bhutanam eva bhavaha bhavanti. All these manifestations are there in people. Matta eva pratagvidaha. All differently manifest from me alone. What is that? Buddhi, your ability to reason and understand. You're a human being. No? So first thing important is buddhi. We are always living in a knowledge-oriented society, okay? When the fig leaf was first invented, it was knowledge-oriented society. Why? Before that it was not used for covering. Therefore, knowledge-oriented. Even when we are hunters and gatherers, lot of knowledge is involved. If you to hunt, oh my God, the amount of knowledge you need. Otherwise, you will become the hunted, all right. You will not survive a hunt. Yeah. All right. Therefore, buddhi, jnanam. Then what happens in that buddhi? Knowledge. Reasoning and knowledge. The ability to reason. Buddhi, jnanam, the knowledge that you gather. Because you look at things and make conclusions, inferences, connections, deductions. All this is jnanam. Isn't that how knowledge progresses in the society anyway? Okay, jnanam. Asammohaha. Freedom from delusory thinking. The positive is mentioned here because associated with Bhagavan, no? Asammoha, Kshama, forbearance, to accommodate people. Even the fool has a right to exist. I don't have to follow the fool, but I have to recognize his right to exist. Yeah. Therefore, Kshama. Yeah. Does the Taliban have a right to exist in Afghanistan? 80% of the local population thought so. Do you believe in democracy? You believe, they don't believe. And if they wanted, who are we to say they shouldn't have it? But the problem is they'll become refugees from there and come into my country and try to make it like Afghanistan. That is where the problem is. So that we don't have to accept. You accommodate them for what they are. You be in your country happy, I am happy. You be there, you are happy, I am here, I am happy. You step on my toes, then I will give you a nice answer. Kshama. Then none of us here have to deal with the Taliban. We have to deal with people around us. Kshama, very important. If you are in a family, even more so. Even more so, okay? Kshama, forbearance. At the same time, know when to draw limits. Guy is standing on your toes all the time, you don't have to say, accommodate him. Kshama. Satyam. Truthfulness, okay? How do we interact with people anyway? How do we gain an integrity of personality unless we are truthful? Satyam. Damaha. Mastery at the sense level. Mastery at the physical level. You need that. Certain physical mastery, etc. is necessary. For anything, for any achievement in life, it is necessary. Damaha. Shamaha. Mastery of the mind. Clear thinking, etc. We have seen this elaborately in Adhikaritvam, etc. Remember? Kshamaha. Mastery of the mind at the mental level. Knowing how to change my thinking. From problematic thinking to very clear-cut thinking. Removing all the distortions in my thinking. Being able to think clearly. Act decisively. Feel nicely. Okay? Shama. Sukham dukkham cha. Natural experience of human beings. Sukha and dukkha. So you can invoke Ishvara and all that. In Sukha, Ananda Sarupa you invoke. There are bhajans like that also, no? Ananda Rupa, this, that, there, etc. You'll go on. Dukkha also, Dukkha Nashana, etc. You'll go on, yeah. Okay. Bhava and Abhava. Bhava. To create things is called Bhava. Abhava, destruction, ending of things, ending of forms. There is no pure Abhava anyway. Pure non-existence cannot be there. Therefore, ending of certain forms, etc. Okay? Destruction. Bhava, Abhava. Okay? Bhayam, cha abhayam eva cha. Fear and fearlessness. Fear is also from Ishvara. Is fear necessary in life? A healthy fear is necessary. Healthy fear is called caution. At the same time, being free from that fear is also important. Free from any fears is important. Fearlessness is difficult to achieve, but courage can be there for everyone. Courage is doing what is right in spite of your heart going dug, 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 dug. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. To do what is right in spite of certain consequences that you may be afraid of. Most of the fears are only in your mind anyway. They are not factual. 90% of the times we are afraid of what may happen, not what will happen. That's why people can get away with emotional blackmail. Like this guy was always threatening his wife. You behave like that, I'm going to Kashi. I'm going to Kashi. So one day she got fed up and said, okay, go to Kashi if you want to. What? You want me to go to Kashi? It became the other way around. Because those days going to Kashi was considered like taking sannyasa, You are abandoning the family and going. Yeah. Haven't you seen people trying to commit suicide? Swallowing pills. 10 sleeping tablets. With 10 sleeping tablets, what will happen? You will sleep 24 hours. That's all. Nothing else will happen. They also know it. But it's an attempted emotional blackmail. Okay. It's an attempted emotional blackmail. Nothing else. Therefore, bhayam and abhayam both come from Ishvara. There is a healthy fear which is called caution, and getting rid of unhealthy fears, that is courage, abhayam. Here abhayam is used in that sense. Fearlessness will come only with self-knowledge, etc., not otherwise. Ahimsa, not hurting people. As far as possible, in my thought, word and deed, I will not hurt people. Ahimsa. We've seen that elaborately. No, we will see that elaborately in the 13th chapter. Okay? Ahimsa. Samatam. Samatvam yogam uchyate, that balance in life. To have an emotional balance in life. It's not that you don't have emotions. You have emotions. You feel deeply about things. But there is a balance in the whole thing. You are not a yo-yo, up and down. Something good happens, you are in the 7th heaven of delight. Something bad happens, you are depressed. No. The range is within a nice balance. There are highs and lows, but there's if you want to put it in mathematical terms, your standard deviation is low. What to do today? My mind is going in those lines of science and maths. Okay? Yeah. So you have a certain balance about the whole thing. Yeah. Then dhanam, he mentioned separately. Because dhanam in a way is an act of worship. The concept of Daridra Narayana. Narayana is coming to you in the form of a beggar who is needy. Therefore, you give him what he needs, he blesses you and goes. Every beggar in India knows this. Irrespective of the religion of the beggar, I'm telling you. What do they come and ask? गरीब को दे दे कुछ, भगवान आपको सुखी करेगा, भगवान आपके बाल बच्चे को अच्छा रखेगा. Yeah, dhanam can be in a way of time also. Time, knowledge, money, wealth, anything it can be. Whatever you have, you share. So, usually I am good in spotting who is a professional beggar and who is really in need. Living in Bombay, I have seen a school for beggars in Bombay, in Matunga, on the east-west bridge, under the bridge, Matunga, there's a bridge to cross over from the east of Matunga, King Circle side, to the west of Matunga, which is Mahim side. So under the bridge there, I saw a school run for beggars. Okay. I spoke to the principal of that school also. He had only 10-15 people around, youngsters around him. Yeah. Everyone knows this. So I am really good at spotting who is needy, who is not. So this guy comes up and tells me, आपके बाल बच्चे सुखे रहेंगे. The way he said it, I knew he was false. I said, बच्चे तो नहीं है, बाल तो सब पक गया. The guy didn't know how to break out. So कुछ भक्ति नहीं है आपके पास. I said, वेश देखा ना, आपके जैसे मैं भी भिखारी हूँ. You are living on what people give you. I am also living on what people give you. What's the difference? Dhanam, okay, the ability to share what you have. Because you can only share what you have. You can't share what you don't have. I can't come to your house and take something from your cupboard and give it away in Dhanam. I can go to my cupboard and see if there is anything, I can give it away. Yeah. Then at this Dhanam and all, elaborately 18th chapter, etc., we will see it. 17th, 18th chapters, elaborately we will see it. Yashaha, Ayashaha, fame and notoriety. Yeah. Krishna had both, remember? He had fame also, he has notoriety also. There is only one community in India, they'll call Krishna Ranchod. Some of you may have heard that name, right? The one who ran away from battle. It's a community where you will never see anyone from that community in the army. Why? Because they are basically business people. It's a business community. So it's good they are not in the army, that they do the business as well. Yeah. Because a business community coming to the army will be a problem for both. Yeah. But what was a tactical retreat on the part of Krishna, where Jarasandha was harassing them. So he took the people from Mathura to Dwaraka and destroyed Jarasandha separately. Jarasandha and Kala Yavana. Okay. So these two people were harassing the community in Mathura. So he decided to shift the whole group to Dwaraka. And en route, he destroyed Kala Yavana in a single combat. Yeah. But that tactical retreat, because of that, they call him Ranchod, one who has left the battlefield. And they'll call themselves, I've seen this name also, Ranchod Das, the servant of somebody who has left it. Yeah, Aditya has grown up in Surat, he knows that. Right? Ranchod Das also, they'll call themselves. So, प्यार से बुलाते हैं, okay? It is not out of any, what do you call, negativity. It's out of love. Because Krishna is one person, you can call him anything. Can you think of talking about any form of Ishvara as a thief? But you'll call Krishna that, no? Makkan Chor and all, you'll call him. Because Krishna, in that manifestation, you could relate to him like that. Can you think of calling Rama, the same avatara of Vishnu, as something like that? He is too stern, too firm, this thing. Krishna you can. Pyar se kuch bhi bol sakta hai. The relationship was like that, okay? Therefore, Ranchod Das, that way. Okay? Yashaha and Ayashaha. Fame and notoriety also, both. From Ishvara only. So, therefore, if someone becomes famous, it's God's glory actually. And that God's glory is revealed because if you look into his horoscope, Guru and Shukra will be strong. Yeah. All God's glories. Okay. Yashaha, Ayashaha. Bhavanti bhava bhutana matte eva pratagvidaha. All these are from me alone, he says. For you want to invoke the Lord in all these, invoke the Lord in all these. How to invoke Lord in a quality or a this like that? See the quality that as though it belongs to the Lord. Not as though. As it belongs to the Lord, and invoke the Lord in those qualities and develop them in yourself. If you are a great thinker, a scientist, it's a pity that many scientists don't believe in God. If they do, I'm sure their insights will be much more. Yeah, have that in this thing. Invoke that in the knowledge. Jnanam. Ishvara is invoked. That's why we have, how do you invoke in Jnanam? Saraswati Devi. Navratri is next month. Yeah. You have Saraswati Puja, you invoke. Yeah. So you will invoke Saraswati even in the notes of the veena. Those of you who are into music, you invoke Saraswati in the notes of the veena. That's another form of worship. Many people don't practice this nowadays, that's a different thing. Okay. But it's all there. Okay. Then what? So therefore, you can invoke Ishvara in any of these. A little abstract, it is true. That's why he starts with the difficult ones first. And then goes to more simpler forms. Okay? Yeah. Therefore, the abstract ones first he starts with. Then what? Then look at further. Maharshaya sapta purve chatvara manavastata madbhavo manasa jata yesham lokaha ima praja. Sapta Rishaya, the 7 rishis who are the originators of our gotras, the first 7. Later on others were added, but initially it was only 7. Anyone remembers the 7 here? Does anyone remember? Maybe a good homework for you all to find out from the net or wherever, okay? South Indians will know easier. Narayan, I'm sure, will know. He may not remember every one of them, but he knows that. Lalita Mami also may know. Yeah. The Sapta Rishis, all your gotras come from there. What is a gotra? Goho trayate yatra, where all the cows were tied together, meaning one clan of people with some relationship between them. That's why they say don't marry within the gotra, because you're all related by blood. Not nowadays, those days, okay? Not nowadays, those days. Nowadays it doesn't matter. Yeah. Those days it mattered. Okay, therefore Sapta Rishaya. Chatvara Manavastata. The 4 Manus. 4 Manus you remember. Okay. Yeah, Bharadwaja, Bhrigu, etc. Correct? Someone has put it up nicely. Nirmala. Atri, Bhrigu, Kutsa, Vasishta, Gautama, Kashyapa, Angirasaha. They are the Sapta Rishis. Okay. They are the Sapta Rishis. 4 Manus. Your net is working very well. Yeah, the 4 Manus. Okay. Manus were the initial. They gave the laws of social conduct, justice, etc. for that particular kalpa. They were supposed to be Manu. Of course, with modification. Like the Manu, that we say Manu Smriti, he himself has said that in Kali Yuga, Manu Smriti should not be applied. It should be Parashara Smriti. 80% is common. 20% difference is there. Why? Because times have changed. Social laws have to change. Yeah. Ideas of justice will also change. Yeah. So. Okay. Therefore, the 4 Manus. Therefore, since they were the original lawgivers, I'm sure you know the story of Manu. How the whole is similar to the story of who was that person in the Christian mythology? The person who built Noah, the person who built the ark. So similarly, Manu found a fish, okay, in his palms when he was doing the morning ritual in the river. Therefore, the fish spoke to him. Nurture me and let me go big. And then it seems the whole place was covered with water. Must have been an ice age. Global warming after an ice age. Whole place is covered with water, water world. And it seems this fish carried Manu to the Himalayas. So he became the first lawgiver for our Kalpa. Now, because all this stuff is there on the net, I have to mention these. There are some people from the south, probably with DMK leanings, okay, who say there was a huge nation, continent, called Kumari Kandalam, that was touched with India, but when this flood came, all that was buried under the water, and Manu was ruling over Kumari Kandalam. If you look at it, it's double the size of India. And then he moved north and formed the Vedic society. Therefore, really speaking, Tamil is the oldest language because Tamil was the language of Kumari Kandalam. Then why he shifted from Tamil to Sanskrit, God knows. Okay. This is a pure work of fiction. Understand this. Why? Because they said Dwaraka was buried under the sea, and when they did underwater excavation, they found a city there. There was some evidence that there was a city that was flooded out, according to the story. Kumari Kandalam, people tried to look at it, because then the continental shelf should be higher than the surrounding areas. Because if flooded with water, it should be available at least 100 feet down. No? 100 feet down, you should find a continent. You mean to say water became more than 100 feet? More than 200 feet? 300 feet? There is no landmass found anywhere. There is no landmass found. There is nothing to back it up. Neither there is a Shastra that talks about Manu, etc. back it up. Neither the Shastra nor science backs up Kumari Kandalam. Therefore, it's a pure work of fiction by one writer. I forget the name of the writer who wrote this. He wrote it in English actually. Anyway, whatever it is. Okay? Because Manu, etc. is mentioned, I thought I'll have to mention it. Because you will come across all this on the net. Okay. It says, Mad Bhava. They're all manifestations from me. Manasa Jata. Purely from my mind. From my Sankalpa, these were born. I didn't have to use any material other than my mind. Yesham Lokaha Imaha Prajaha. And from there, all these people have come into being. From Manu and the Saptarishis, all these people, all of us have come. Therefore, really speaking, the Saptarishis are our ancestors. That's why every Indian is a Rishi Putra. Every Indian is a Rishi Putra, even if he belongs to some other religion. Why? Because he has converted either at the tip of a sword or with a bag of rice. Yeah. We all are Rishiputras. They are the originator. Therefore, the Puranas that deal with the Rishis, Mahabharata, Itihas, Ramayana, etc., are the story of India. All Indians. There was this Muslim gentleman, Raza Murad, who wrote the script for Mahabharata. B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata. He said it first. He said, all of us are Hindus. We can be Hindu Muslims, Hindu Christians, Hindu Buddhists, but we are Hindus first. Our ancestors were Hindus. Today, if he had made that statement, he will be trolled, like how Nasiruddin Shah got trolled on the net for saying that we should not be celebrating Taliban. If you are a liberal in India, Hindus will accept you, not the other religions. I would like you all to show me a communist Muslim or a communist Christian. Will you see one? But you will see Hindu, Muslim, Hindu, communist, Hindu, liberal, all that you will see. We are idiots, I'm telling you. We are idiots. That's why we will suffer in our own country. Lakhs of people got thrown out of Kashmir, but all of us kept quiet. No? Many of us didn't even know that Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out of Kashmir. Government managed to keep it a secret. They were hand in glove with it. Maybe it's time for us to think of our Hindu identity along with Vedanta, okay? Because if Hinduism is not there in this country, Vedanta also will not survive. Vedanta will survive like how it survived in the Mughal rule. We all will disappear into the Himalayas. Deeper into the Himalayas now. We'll keep it going for each generation until it can flare up and the public can learn. Yeah, the sadhus will not fail in their responsibility of keeping it alive. But how much you all will get is a question. Therefore, don't hesitate to own up your Hindu identity. Okay? Don't hesitate for that. Yeah. Okay. Therefore, all these are born of me, he says. Okay? Therefore, you can use the Saptarishi for in your worship. You can use Manus for your worship. Nowadays, again, hardly anyone does that. Okay? But it can be. Alright. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tatvatah so avikampena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. Okay. Etam vibhutim cha yogam cha. Okay, vibhuti and yoga. Okay, yoga here in the sense of knowledge, connection, etc. Okay, vibhuti. Mama yo veti tattvata, who knows it in reality, means who knows Ishvara in its reality, he says. So, avikampena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. Avikampena yogena, your connection with Ishvara. The more you invoke Ishvara in all these forms, not only the forms mentioned, the form that is going to come later, or in any other form also. Yeah. If avikampena you are invoking that and developing bhakti, then he says your bhakti will become unshaken. Avikampena yogena, okay, ashayan yujyate natra samshayaha. In other words, you will get an unshaken trust and confidence. It will not be mere Shraddha. Okay? It will not be mere Shraddha. It will be more than Shraddha. It will be trust, it will be confidence. It is backed by understanding, backed by knowledge. Okay? That's a beautiful thing to be. The more you understand, the more your bhakti can grow. Initially, you may need a few of these rituals to get that bhakti, to invoke that bhakti out of yourself. But in time, bhakti will be the most natural thing. It will express yourself in terms of your personality. If you are a strong personality and bhakti is meant to make you strong, you will express it in a strong manner. Not Rona Dhona type of bhakti. That's also bhakti. Rona Dhona is also bhakti. Nobody says no. But the Lord doesn't want you to remain a victim. Okay? He wants you to grow, become strong. Okay? Not the bhakti that says, oh Lord, I am nothing, you are everything. Once in a way, that type of a song is all right. I call this songs of validation. You have that in Hindi, na? Rakho Laj, mere dori tere haath. Hey Govinda, hey Gopal. I have nothing, you have to protect me. Uddharam dhinam, ati dhinam, balahinam. Why? There are moments in your life when you can feel like that. Therefore, if you sing a bhajan like that, you will feel validated. You're validating yourself. Like in how therapy, the therapist is validating you. Here in these bhajans, you're using Ishvara to validate yourself. It's good. But that should not be the norm. How long will you keep saying, I'm useless, I'm idiotic? And you're coming to Vedanta and I'm trying to teach you, you're everything. And you're saying, I'm nothing. Hey, ये क्या बात हो गया? How will you ever understand Vedanta? Yeah. But I am Abala, I am a woman, what to do? You're a woman. You're a co-creator with God. You bring a life into this earth. You can. Whether you choose to or not, that's a different thing. But you can. So what is Abala about that? There's strength in that. What about that? No one thinks like that. So, get all that into your life. Get that bhakti into your life. We'll see more forms. He is going to give you some 40, 50 forms he will give you. Okay? Pick up whichever you like, or any other form also, doesn't matter. And invoke that bhakti out of yourself. I have told you all, I used to do one thing that used to bug my mom. It was partly to bug my mom, but it was partly out of bhakti also. I had got hold of a nice hunting knife. It is a gift. Because I took place in a small, anyway, I don't know how much I should talk about all this. We are after a man-killer leopard. Now that area has all become buildings, but those days, I'm talking when I was in college, school. So one of the hunters there gave me a nice knife. So I had this nice knife. Okay. Because I was the first one to spot it. And the process probably saved people from an attack. So he gave me this knife. I was thrilled with it, okay. Because it appealed to the martial samskaras in me. Okay. And those samskaras are high in me. So I used to take it and keep it as Ayudha Puja for every Navaratri. My mother couldn't say no. She didn't like it, but she couldn't say no. Because born in this culture, how can she say no? It's Ayudha Puja. If you can keep your books and things like that, you can keep the knife. So I used to keep all my books, etc., including a Vedanta book, because I had just started studying Vedanta. Like how casually. And then I would keep the knife on top of that. Invoke in weapons, Shastra Vidya. All Vidya is from the Lord. So invoke in whatever you feel. Okay. So more of this we will see later. Good place to stop. More and more we will see. So I may move a bit faster afterwards. Okay. Om Tat Sat.